NTV Wild Talk in partnership with the Kenya Wildlife Service and Wildlife Direct.
Hello and welcome to NTV Wild Talk with me, Smriti Vidyarthi, coming to you from the Kenya Wildlife Service headquarters here in Nairobi. Now, this show is all about rhinos, and this is why. Rhinos are beloved the world over. They're used in many company logos, internationally and locally, because this animal symbolizes strength, power and durability. But rhinos across the globe are in trouble and need our help. Rhino populations are dropping, mostly due to demand from Asian countries, such as China. Such countries believe rhino horn contain medicinal value, a belief which holds no truth whatsoever. Poachers are now going to new terrifying extremes. Early in March, poachers broke into a Paris zoo, shot a rhino dead and sawed off its horn before making away with it. And earlier this month, a South Africa court lifted a ban on domestic rhino horn sales. Despite this, rhinos in Kenya are largely safe. Kenya's rhinos represent the third largest population in the world. In this show, we find out what Kenya is doing right and learn more about the real heroes behind rhino conservation, particularly in the Nairobi National Park. So this here is the rhino enclosure at the Nairobi Safari Walk. It is the place where hundreds of people come to view a rhino up close. This is the space right here allocated to the public. They get the chance to watch a rhino, but it's not a rhino in the wild. I'm going to now have a look and see if we can spot this rhino. There he is. That, I'm told, is Dubai, an 18-year-old male rhino. He is a southern white rhino, and you can tell that he's a white rhino based on his size. They are usually slightly bigger than black rhinos. They also have a hump on the back, and their mouths, which you can't see at the moment, are flat and wide. Dubai is busy munching away, and that's probably his breakfast that he's enjoying. But Dubai is alone in this enclosure, and really, as stunning as he is, this is how most people around the world get to view wild animals such as this in an enclosure like this. Now have a look here. There is wiring right across this entire area. In fact, as you can see, this is an electric fence. This rhino is very well protected right here. But don't most people want to see wild animals out in the wild in their natural habitat? The Nairobi National Park is just 2 minutes away from the Safari Walk, and that is where there are several rhinos that are protected, but they are still out in the wild. We're about to head out to see some of those, but first I'm going to have a quick chat with the warden, Nelly. Come with me. So I'm about to meet Nelly Palmeris. She is the park warden. Nelly, so good to see you.
Good to see you too.
Great.
Yeah.
Thank you for having us here at the KWS headquarters. Now, we have just come from viewing Dubai, the 18-year-old male rhino in the rhino enclosure.
Yes.
A fascinating sight, but it is very important to note that while animals are kept in zoos or enclosures, they're not always well protected, especially from poachers, as we saw in Paris, when, you know, poachers broke into a zoo and actually shot a rhino dead. But what is fascinating is that the Nairobi National Park, where rhinos are out in the wild, is a very safe place for rhinos, isn't it?
Yes, it is. It is. It is.
And tell us about the rhino population in there.
We are the second, I think, most successful rhino sanctuary in the country, and most of the populations actually that have been reintroduced into some of these areas have all come from Nairobi National Park, because it's small and we have a very vibrant population of rhino. So the breeding has been very successful for us, and we have seen numbers grow over the years.
And is there a mix of black and white rhinos?
Yes, we have a mix of black and white rhinos, but the black are endemic to the park, and they are 80% of what we have. Only the 20% is the white rhinos that were introduced into this park.
It's pretty amazing that you say that, you know, the population is thriving in the Nairobi National Park, because we don't hear that often these days, that rhino populations are thriving. Around the world, rhinos are being poached for their horns, which certain countries believe have medicinal powers. That's not true at all.
Yes.
But why then is Kenya, and in particular the park, doing so well?
Because we are not sleeping. We are not sleeping. We are really working so hard to ensure that that population is kept. But I'll talk about three things probably that has really kept us going. One is that we have very strong laws, penalties, and that has really helped us in terms of ensuring enforcement and the protection of our rhinos. Two is that we have a very tight intergovernment and interagency links and collaboration that has helped us, from the airports to the police to other arms of government, and supported us much in trying to ensure that these rhinos are protected in the park. And thirdly is that we have a good number of rangers out there. I have over 70 rangers that walk in this park and occupy every space in this park to ensure that these rhinos are secure. And so we have almost each to every rhino in the park, just to ensure that every day they wake up to look for these individuals. They know them by name, they patrol in their area, they see that they are feeding, that this population is healthy, and that every rhino is accounted for each and every day. So they work 24 hours, 7 days a week. They don't sleep, just to ensure that these rhinos are saved for tomorrow.
That is absolutely amazing to think that there are men out here, and possibly women too, patrolling on the ground just to protect these precious, precious animals. But Nelly, whilst currently the population is thriving here in the park, have there ever been incidents of poaching in the Nairobi National Park?
Yes, unfortunately in the year 2013 we had our first, I would say, very, very depressing time when we lost our 2 rhinos in this park. And it was a wake-up call, I think, when it was escalating everywhere in the world, and especially in the country. And so I think that's the time we saw that the threat was so real for us, even being in a capital city with so many challenges and so many people around us. And so we have woken up and are working each day, each night, just to ensure that we don't lose any other rhino, because we need these rhinos to thrive, and we need to populate the other areas again from this park. Yes, so we are proud of our park, that we can keep that number of rhinos and we can save them, because we want to contribute to the national effort in managing the population of rhino.
Most definitely. And of course, poaching is one of the biggest threats that faces rhinos. But here in the park, what are some of the other threats that these rhinos face? Because Nairobi National Park, as we know, is a very, very special place, but it is bang in the middle of a capital city. So there are no doubt many pressures.
Yes, we have a lot of pressure, especially from space around the park. We have seen the population of Nairobi in the 6 years almost triple. We have seen all the spaces that we had just at the buffer of the park gone into settlement, into alternative use of land, into different economies of agriculture to provide food for the same population and all that. And so even our population sometimes had, you know, more of space just to be out of the park and not to be constricted into the park. But now all the land is gone, all the spaces is gone, so the population is kind of closed in into the park. And so it means that we also have to introduce intensive management at some point just to ensure that the population is still well catered for in the park so that we don't have issues of crash population.
Nelly, one of the things that you said has really struck me, the fact that one of the successes of protecting these rhinos is thanks to the boots on the ground.
Yes.
The rangers that you have patrolling 24 hours a day to look after these rhinos.
Yes.
I think I'm going to head out into the park now to meet some of these men who really are making a difference in saving rhinos.
That would be very nice.
All right.
That would be very
All right,
nice.
Nelly, thank you so much for your time. We'll catch up soon.
Thank you.
All right, join me now as I go learn what it takes to be on a patrol to protect rhinos. So my KWS vehicle is on standby for me. I'm told that Peter, the driver, is about to take me out to meet the rhino rangers on patrol. Jumbo Peter. All right, so let's get on with this. This is going to be interesting. I'm all alone in this car. All right. All right, I've spotted Njoroge, I think. Njoroge?
Yes.
All right, so Njoroge is coming this way, and it seems like him and his colleagues may have spotted something. I cannot see anything though. Hi, Njoroge. Good to meet you.
Good to meet you.
All right, I see that you are out here with your colleagues. Have you spotted anything?
Yeah, we've spotted a black rhino.
Oh, really?
Resting over there. And would like to just walk a little bit in there so that we may have the correct identification of it.
Okay, fine. So, of course, as rangers, you are always on foot, which means I need to get out of this vehicle.
Yeah.
But is that safe for me?
We'll do this for this exercise only.
Okay.
You'll be under our protection, and we hope it will be safe.
We hope it will be safe. All right, so just to let you know that ordinarily, if you are visiting any park, you are not allowed to get out. Remember, these are wild animals. But as Njoroge says, I'm under his protection. You are responsible for me. Okay, awesome. Now, before we go, though, what I do notice is that you are very well protected. I am not at this moment. Take us through your attire, because you are out here day and night. So what have you got going on here?
Yeah, I have my webbing that I carry my work equipment with. That is, I have some more armors. I also may have some dry ration inside here. For me, when I go to the field, something for me to eat.
Okay.
I may also carry some water using this. And I have a protective boot that will assist me walk through the grass.
And run if you need to.
And run if I need to.
Okay.
Yeah.
And the main thing I see is you've got a huge gun with you as well. Of course, that is for your protection and anybody else's. Have you ever had to use it?
Not always, but there are some times that circumstances need you to use the weapon.
All right.
But I've not used it against poachers. I've used it mostly to scare animals that charge on us every now and then when we are protecting them.
Okay, speaking of charging, I'm told that this massive dent in this KWS vehicle has a story behind it.
Yeah.
What happened?
It was during our patrol in one of the evenings. We spotted a solitary bull of a rhino at number 4. Then when you are trying to observe it, we had a sudden change of wind direction.
Okay.
So it got our scent. Then it headed straight to where we were.
Really?
And because we had guys who were here in the front, and we had some other guys who were observing the rhino, it was not easy for us to drive the car away when we leave those guys vulnerable there.
I see.
So we had to wait for them to get in the vehicle, and before they could get in the vehicle, that is when the rhino charged on us.
So
and it did
this damage is caused by a rhino. You can just imagine the strength of a rhino. It has such a sharp horn as well, but thankfully everybody was safe. Can we start getting closer?
We can.
And what's interesting, Njoroge, is that you said that the rhino that attacked that vehicle captured your scent because of the wind direction. Now, why is that important?
It is very important because when we are doing, when we are observing the rhinos, or when we are doing identification, because we identify them individually, we track them individually because, as you understand, they are the most critically endangered species that we are having in the world. And if we don't account for each and every rhino, that is on a timeline that we give ourselves, that means that we are not up to the task.
Right.
When you are approaching a rhino, you have to go off the wind. You make sure that it doesn't get your scent. You do it undisturbed. You don't disturb the animal. You just leave it wherever it was. If it was resting, you just let it rest. If it was browsing, you let it continue browsing, because we are the one who are trying to interfere with them while they are in the wild.
Yeah, this is their spot. This is their environment. So how can you tell wind direction? Do you just sort of kick up some mud or pick up a piece of grass?
What we do, you can pick some kind of dust. Then, by doing this, you'll get the wind direction. You'll see where the...
So right now, as you can see, this mud is blowing in that direction, which means the wind is coming this way. So we go the opposite direction of the wind.
We go the opposite direction of the wind.
Okay, and of course that is the direction in which we're going to. So the rhino is that way. All right, let's continue. And of course I can see your colleagues are with us as well, further up, guiding us. How long though have you been a ranger for?
I've been a ranger since 2007. That gives you about 9 years now. And I have enough experience in the rhino field. I've worked as a rhino ranger for the past 8 years. I've had so many incidents coming up, but thank God that we have not had any incident whereby a ranger could be killed by a rhino or being injured by the rhino.
Right. But as we get closer to the rhino, Njoroge, tell me, how many years have you been doing this for?
I've been doing this for the past 8 years. That was since I was posted to Nairobi National Park. And it has been great to interact with these critically endangered species, ensuring that they are safe on a daily basis, ensuring that accurate and timely reports are done from whatever we gather from the field. It's actually one of the passionate things that I personally do.
Really?
On a daily basis.
How did you become so passionate? Because out here, you know, it is hot. You are interacting with rough terrain. It's a harsh environment. But what makes you so passionate?
I believe it's a calling from God to take care of the creation that He created. And because of the many incidents that we have had of poaching, I felt it good to dedicate my life to try and do conservation of these critically endangered species. And as I do that, I also take care of the other wildlife in the park and the visitors that come in the park. So when you have a safe environment, when we conserve these animals the way it should be, I think we are heading somewhere now.
Wow, I mean, that really, really is a fascinating thing to say, that you are, ready to dedicate, or you have been dedicating your life to protecting these animals. Now, you say we are heading somewhere. Well, indeed we are, and right now we are getting closer and closer to this rhino. Let's just take a few steps and see what it's like to get that close. So we're getting closer and closer to the rhino, and we do of course have to keep our voices down because we don't want to interfere with it. Njoroge, if this rhino decides to get up, because right now of course it's resting under that tree, if for any reason it gets up and comes this way or charges us, what should I do?
We are going to take care of that with my colleagues.
Okay.
And that's why you accompanied us.
Okay, fine. So
moment.
I'm safe, right?
But the best thing that we did, we started coming off the wind,
Yeah.
so that it may not get any attention from us.
Okay, well, it looks fine right now. I mean, it's chilling under the tree. It's
Yeah.
hot. But Njoroge, now, when you go out on patrol, what is your job? You obviously sight rhinos. Do we know who this rhino is? If it's a male, female, does it have a name?
Yeah, we know the name of the rhino. Each and every patrol team has all the rhino names from our database, have the rhino pictures at their bases, have the correct places that they can get the rhinos, where they can check them from. And in case there's any rhino that they don't understand, we have those key experts who have dealt with them for quite some time, me being one of them.
Right.
They refer all those cases to me, and we are able to solve each and every case.
So who is this particular rhino?
This particular rhino is called Zudam Navil.
Okay, Zudam Navil.
Yeah.
Oh wow, what a name, okay.
And Zudam Navil is a male rhino, a subadult of about, it's almost becoming an adult. It is 6 and a quarter years now. And this one doesn't have an ear notch. We have several ways of identifying a rhino. We can identify a rhino through the ear notches. Then we have those that have body features that are so unique from each other.
Yeah.
We have some that we identify them through their horns. We have some that have, you may see a case whereby the rear horn is bigger than the front one,
Okay.
which is another unique case.
Right.
That makes it very possible for us to know. And you can also identify them through companionship.
Oh.
You may see a rhino with its calf, and from afar or from a distance, if you just take your binoculars, you'll be able to know this is this rhino, and it is the one that has a calf that is this age or this size.
And where do you document all of this? When you come out on location, do you have any form of paperwork that you need to do?
Yeah, we have pocket booklets
Okay.
that we take with ourselves. And the booklets, as you can see,
Black rhino sighting form booklet. All
Yeah.
right.
and from this booklet, we have various things that we fill in, the things that are also filled in our data. Like you can see, we start with the rhino area. This one is Nairobi.
Okay.
Then the date of today is on 25th of March 2017. Then the observers, that's me, I have Njoroge.
All right. So after your name, you've got GPS location.
Yeah, we put the GPS location, and then we put the area, the location, the area block, that is
Of the park.
the general park of where the rhino is found. Then you have to check on the ear marks that it has. Then from there, you draw the rhino horn
Ah, okay.
from this end.
Oh, wow.
You draw the shape of the horn.
Okay.
You have to indicate whether it is a male, a female, and then you have to give it the age class.
Okay.
Yeah.
So really a lot of work goes into what you do, and then this information is taken back and the data is all put in. You know, what is your favorite part of the job, Njoroge?
The favorite part of the job is the one that we are doing now.
Really?
The one of ensuring that the rhinos are safe, they are in a healthy body condition, they are not disturbed, and in case there is any that is ailing, we report that to the management to take care of it.
And by looking at this rhino that's standing up now, does it look like it's in good, healthy condition?
It's in one of the perfect body conditions.
Oh wow, all right, so we have spotted a great rhino right here, but you know what, there is so much more that is involved in the job of a rhino patrol ranger. Njoroge and his colleagues do so much out here in the Nairobi National Park. It is though time to take a break on NTV Wild Talk. Do stay with us, plenty more coming up in just a moment. Welcome back to NTV Wild Talk with me, Smriti Vidyarthi, coming to you from the Nairobi National Park. And right now I'm still with Ranger Njoroge. He earlier took me on a little rhino patrol, but Njoroge, it's, you know, hot now, and of course, surely you guys need a rest. So this is actually the kind of place where you come to take a bit of a break when you're on patrol, isn't it?
And it is one of the most perfect places. Fresh air, interacting with nature. It's one of the nicest places for us to take a rest.
When you are resting, what do you do? I mean, you know, are you eating, drinking, or just sleeping? But you still have to be alert.
It has been 6 hours or 7 hours since we started our patrols, and when we sit here we don't have any hot meals, but we carry with ourselves dry rations that we feed on. Then could be in the evening when we go back to the camp, that's when we take some hot meals and refresh ourselves, ready for the night patrols and the night vigilance.
So this is pretty much like your snack, so it's not really your hot cup of tea and, you know, carrot cake. It actually is a ration that keeps everyone going. So what do we have here? All right, well, there are some biscuits. How cool.
Have some
army
biscuits.
biscuits. Are they specially made for the army? Or for people like...
For people like us.
Like you? Wow, all right. And then you've got some githeri as well. Awesome, no doubt. This is going to keep a lot of these rangers energetic, which is what you need.
And we have some
fruit.
Some fruits.
Oh, brilliant.
Some pineapple.
All right, so perhaps we can dig in to some biscuits. But as we, you know, munch on this, Njoroge, tell me, what does your day-to-day life look like?
My day mostly starts at 6 in the morning, and that's when I'm out on patrol. But I have to wake up a little bit earlier because there are things that we call call-ups. We have to know the status of your men, the men that you have in the pack. That is the patrol teams, because they are situated at different positions in the pack. So you have to know how they have spent their night. You have to know what they need. You have to know the areas that they are going to patrol on that day. You have to know the aim and objective of the event that will take place during the day.
You mentioned that, you know, you love what you do and you're passionate about it, but no doubt with this kind of a job and routine comes a lot of challenges. What are some of them?
The biggest challenges that we meet, more so when we are in the field, the animals are not aware that we are taking care of them. So there are times that they charge on us. There are times we meet with dangerous animals like the buffaloes, the lions. You meet poisonous snakes when you're doing your patrols. So that is one of the biggest challenges that we meet. Besides that, we are in the park 24 hours, 7 days in a week. That means that you can only have a time with your family when you have an off day or when you are on your annual leave. So that means you sacrifice a lot of your leisure time, a lot of your social time, being in the park, taking care of wildlife and visitors in the park. And That one kind of shows the great commitment that we have towards conservation and the passion that we have for conservation.
And how does your family feel that, hey, here's Njoroge, but he's spending more of his time out with wild animals than with us?
It's quite a challenge for us to deal with our families, because you hear, when I go home, the kids are always there asking me, where have you been? Why don't you come home on a daily basis? And my wife also complains sometimes, saying that I'm taking too much time for my work. I don't have time for the family. So it's always a hard job for us.
And speaking about safety, you know, with this job comes so many risks. Do you ever get scared for your life? Because you have fallen colleagues, men who have been out there on the ground, who have been felled by poachers.
They give us an encouragement, because if we go out from those fallen heroes from us, that means we are not in for the calling that we had. And we should work and strive and work harder to ensure that the dreams that they had, the dreams that were shut, because they could all be alive today. So that gives me an encouragement, and I'm always head on with whatever I do on a daily basis.
You, of course, spend a lot of your time out with these animals, connecting with them and with nature, of course. But are you fearful for the future of our wildlife, or are you confident?
With the current situation the way it is, poaching has a little bit gone down. So I believe we are heading in the right direction. And for the management and other government agencies and stakeholders, whatever they are doing right now, I believe, and I'm very confident that we are heading somewhere. And in a span of, could be 5 years, we'll have more healthier conservation efforts than we have right now.
And what is one of your wildest moments in all the years that you've been a ranger?
It was on one morning when we woke up and went for a clearance patrol. And we were 6 of us. We were doing it on a plane, we called it the Adi Basin Plains in the park.
Yeah.
So that means the formation that we took to do the clearance was the extended one. So one guy from there, another one here, 10 meters each apart. And as we were patrolling, nobody picked that there was a lion that had some cubs.
Wow.
And I was holding my rifle with my right hand, and I had a handheld radio on my left hand. So when I approached the lion, I hadn't seen it. The other guys never saw it too. So it rolled towards me.
Wow.
Then it faced me with a very, very weird face. A face that was just about to attack me.
Face to face, you
Face
and
to
the
face,
lion.
me and the lion. So what happened? I almost freaked out.
Yeah, I can imagine.
Yeah. And there is nothing that I could have done. Because if I could have dropped my rifle, it would have attacked me outright.
Yeah.
If I dropped the radio and then tried to shoot on it, because that was very close, very close. I shouted loudly to the guys that we were patrolling with. I told them there's a lion here that is about to attack me. And then they got scared. Then the lion, after hearing me shouting, it roared once again, ready to attack and start wagging its tail. Wow. Then I started walking backwards, but facing it. So I was walking backwards, but facing the lion. Because if I show it my back, it would have taken me down.
Yeah.
I shouted once again. The guys started running.
Wow.
They ran away from me. So I was left
Oh
me
my God, your colleagues ran away
and
from you.
the lion. Yeah, after, could be 30 seconds. Oh, they all stood there and said, no, 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 no. Hiyo simba itakula huyu jamaa. Let's go back and help him. So I told them, there's no need of you coming back. Just shoot some few shots in the air and we see whether the lion will go. After they did that, they fired 4 shots in the air. That's when the lion now turned back, picked the weakest cub, and then fled off.
Wow.
And that was the moment that I was so close. It was so close.
Yeah.
I almost died on that day. And those are some of the challenges that we meet. The animals are not aware you are taking care of them. They attack you. And if you're not courageous enough, you can't be able to survive in the bush. You can't be able to conserve the animals that are in the wild because they are wild. So
that story has given me shivers. You really, really are a brave, brave man, and thank God that you survived that, Njoroge. Wow. Njoroge, what is your message, say, to the president and people who are fighting to protect our wildlife?
I would like to see full support for all the security agencies, for all the stakeholders that take part in conservation, because I'm a custodian of wildlife on behalf of the public, and the government has given us each and everything that we need. And what we need mostly, we need the support. We need like-minded people like us who will support conservation, and I believe in that we are going to make it. And we are going to become one of the leading countries in the world in conservation.
You know, it really is thanks to people like you and your colleagues who dedicate their lives to ensuring our wildlife is safe. I am certain that you must have inspired so many people out there who are watching this show. What is your message to someone who perhaps now is thinking, I want to be a ranger, I want to be like Njoroge? What are the qualities that that person might need?
One thing, you need to be passionate of what you want to do. You want to become a ranger. You have to be transparent, you have to be honest, and you have to have that bold heart in yourself. You have to be brave, because whatever we come across in our daily routines, it is dangerous. It requires somebody who is brave, somebody who is courageous, and somebody who is focused on what he or she is doing.
And that perfectly describes every single ranger: courageous, brave, dedicated and passionate. Njoroge, you have a wonderful spirit. Well done to you and your colleagues, and keep up the awesome work. Thank you so much.
Thank you too.
All right, well, we never quite got around to having our snacks, but perhaps now we will do. Here you go. And in the meantime, I'm going to head back to the KWS headquarters to learn more about the bigger picture when it comes to protecting our rhinos. So I've just come back from a patrol with a ranger in the Nairobi National Park. What an awesome experience that was. But joining me now is Solomon Chalo. He is the head of the CITES implementation with the Kenya Wildlife Service. Solomon, great to be with you. Now, in just a moment, we'll talk more about the protection of rhinos. But firstly, seeing those men out in the field really is humbling and heartwarming. They really are conservation heroes. KWS must be so proud of them.
Yes, Smriti, it's true. These are our heroes. We have KWS as a very dedicated team of rangers, and we are proud of them. The work they do, fantastic.
It really does take so much commitment and dedication to patrol and be on call 24 hours a day. And it's great to see how the rhinos here in Nairobi National Park are doing well. They are safe, thanks to the boots on the ground and many, many other efforts. But Solomon, what about the rhinos across the country? Because Nairobi National Park is just one park amongst so many.
We have a great number of populations spread across the country, and the efforts you have seen KWS rangers putting at the park are replicated in all the other areas in the country. It's out of those efforts that our rhinos are safe.
So you can confidently say that in Kenya our rhinos are safe?
Absolutely.
But there were in fact some incidences of poaching of rhinos back in 2016, especially around Christmas time. So what was the cause of those? And where were they exactly?
Yeah, these are some of the challenges we have when we come to conservation of the rhinos. The reason for this is because there is huge demand of the rhino horns globally, but we are up to the task to contain the poaching. But this huge demand is coming from Asia, and such initiatives we have such as the CITES, the Convention on International Trade in Endangered Species of World Fauna and Flora.
When we look at statistics, where do we stand at the moment compared to previous years? How many rhinos do we have left in the world?
Yeah, currently we are talking of a global population of 25,000 rhinos. It's not a big number, and we have different species of rhinos. When we talk of the white rhinos, we are talking of 20,000 globally, globally. And when we are talking of the black rhinos, we are talking of 5,000. Apparently, out of the 5,000 black rhinos, Kenya has a greater portion of that population. We have the third largest population in the world. But remember, this again is a small population. So the challenge is, if this small population is not protected, and we need to protect it, then we'll be talking of an extinction of our species.
What do our rhinos need from the public, whether you're an ordinary citizen or a corporate or anybody, in order to keep them safe?
You can donate to Kenya Wildlife Service whatever resources, either in kind or in cash, so that we can secure, we can support the rangers, we can pay salaries for the rangers, we can buy the equipment for monitoring the populations of rhinos and other wildlife, so that we can secure what we have. Make sure you visit all the parks, because out of that then you are supporting KWS to enhance its conservation efforts. I know there are so many corporate bodies, companies that are using rhino as their logos, their emblems. This is the time to give back or to support Kenya Wildlife Service to enhance the conservation of the species.
Solomon, thank you so much for your time on NTV Wild Talk. Much appreciated.
Thank you too.
All right, well, from that bit about what you can do to protect rhinos, here is our wild guess question. How many rhinos are left in the world? How many rhinos are left in the world? To participate, you must like the NTV Wild Facebook page. Only answers posted on the timeline post that's associated with this question will be considered. The first person to answer correctly wins a voucher for a truly delightful, relaxing and uplifting Swedish massage at the Xiangiki Spa, plus 50% off the next massage you book. Xiangiki Spa is a small haven of sheer wellness, serenity and bliss located at Karen Connection. The winner also gets free entry for 4 people and a vehicle to any national park, courtesy of the Kenya Wildlife Service, and a gift hamper, courtesy of Wildlife Direct. Terms and conditions apply and can be found on the NTV Wild Facebook page. Last week's lucky winner was Dennis Okari. And now here is our Wild Pick segment. Here's a snap of Morris Wamathai. He was on Prison Island in Zanzibar. Morris was touching one of the giant tortoises and says he was surprised by their age, which was written on the shell of each tortoise. He was there on holiday. At the David Sheldrick Wildlife Trust Orphanage and the Giraffe Centre, this is Samuel Nyangaresi. He was patting a baby orphaned elephant and also feeding a giraffe. Samuel says he enjoys seeing wild animals. Wambui Ngugi was at the Olpejeta Conservancy. She was there visiting the chimpanzees and says this one is called Poco. Wambui visited because she loves nature so much and loves learning about animals. In Oljogi in Laikipia County, this is Mark Kome. He was posing in front of huge elephants. Mark says he went there to learn more about elephants because I love them, he says. Willie Karos was at Hala Park in Bamburi, Mombasa. This was a selfie with a giraffe, and Willie says he realized that giraffes are photogenic and so friendly. Willie was there on a campus-sponsored trip and says he loves wild animals, which make him feel relaxed and hyped too. They're so beautiful. If you want your photo showcased on our Wild Pick segment, just like our NTV Wild Facebook page. Send a good quality photo that shows you celebrating nature via private message. Include your full name, tell us where the photo was taken, what you were doing and why. What you watched on the show is just a snippet of what the rangers really go through to protect our rhinos and wildlife. Remember, they are constantly on guard 24/7, 365, and so many of them have paid the ultimate price to safeguard our wildlife. You may not be a ranger, but what is your contribution to conservation? Something to think about. Well, that's it on NTV Wild Talk with me, Smriti Vidyarthi. Thanks very much for watching. We'll see you next Tuesday at 10 p.m. Days a year. What am I saying next? We have also seen the lights gone again. Nelly preferred not to give the population of rhinos in the park.
Okay.
There? Gotta get in. I thought you were still on this side. Hi. Oh, thank you. Hi, how are you? Hello.
NTV Wild Talk in partnership with the Kenya Wildlife Service and Wildlife Direct.
Emerangwa wangi porie, yo bengala nanginya.